Better financial future? Easy. Reinventing the mobile banking experience around YOU. Banking services provided by Pathward NA. Netspend has been trusted by over 10 million and is rated great on Trustpilot. Go beyond banking with the Netspend All Access account. Get started today at netspend.com. Netspend has been rated great on Trustpilot as of November 2022. Deposit account is established by Pathward NA, member FDIC. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. When you place your first $5 bet, that's a free bet back. Your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code WNSR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. Super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with the promo code WNSR. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years of age or older and present here in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued, non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios. Just a bit outside. It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Last show of 2022. Welcome to the McFarland Show. Darren and Justin here with you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio for the next 2 hours. Devlin is alongside. We can ring the bell for that. Final show of the calendar year.
Amen.
How are we doing?
Doing okay. Doing fine. Looking forward to this one. This one shall be interesting. So a lot to get into here. So
next week is going to be interesting.
Next week is going to be interesting as well, as we are going to either have a playoff or not have a playoff coming up here, and this time next week here, next weekend.
Yeah, it is, and you do wonder, and we'll get into all this today.
Yeah.
Does Jacksonville react the same way that Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans reacted and basically tell Trevor Lawrence, hey, you can just show up in your street clothes. Don't worry about Sunday because you're not playing, big fella. We're going to save you for the grand finale.
Depends on the philosophy. I mean,
yeah, and I don't know, right, I don't know how.
I mean, they're obviously in a little bit different of a situation. they understand who their quarterback is and how that's going to go.
Well, but it's not a different situation if you are saying, hey, this game means nothing. Next game, the last game means everything. It's our entire season. By the way, the winner of that game, just to put this in perspective, is going to be hosting a playoff game.
That is correct.
Let that one sit. Is going to be hosting a playoff game.
Big time.
Okay? And so that's what's on the line. And I think, yes, it's not about, hey, let's try this. It's, hey, big fella, we need you for the final game of the regular season, and we don't want to take any chances. It doesn't matter what happens in this game, because the bottom line is the winner of the next game is who's going to be hosting the playoff game. So we're going to need you just to sit out and watch and stay healthy. Don't trip over anything. You know, there's a lot of wires on the sidelines. Watch out for those wires. Don't trip over anything. Hopefully nobody's going to throw anything from the stands because we'll protect you. We need you to stay upright and healthy.
Going to wrap him in bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap. He'll look like the Michelin Man coming out.
Put him in witness protection. He's not even showing up to the stadium. Just armed guards around him at all times. We know where he is.
A glassed suite. How about that?
Yes.
double pane glass suite. I don't know if that's how they're going to approach it because, again, I don't know, and I literally just drew blanks on their head coach.
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson.
You know what I had in my head?
Doug Marrone?
Yes, thank you.
The former
I was
head
getting
coach.
ready to say Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I have Doug Marrone?
Because he used to be the coach.
Because he used to be the Jags coach.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
Actually, they almost won a playoff game with Doug Marrone.
They did.
Should have won a playoff.
Matter of fact,
No, they did.
Yeah, but they got to the AFC Championship game. Yeah, with Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
Funny how time flies.
I know. The Jags were, believe it or not, for people listening.
With Blake Bortles.
That are turning their head like the Jags and the AFC. Yeah, they did that after they lost to the Titans in 1999 in the AFC, or 2000.
Yeah, in 2000.
So they have been to a championship game since. So, yes. But that was Doug Marrone, and now their head coach is Doug
Peterson.
Yeah.
Former NFL quarterback.
Eagles head coach.
Yeah.
When they won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So, last night it was the Titans and the Cowboys.
It was.
And interesting how the line was like 14 and a half, depending on where you were.
How about that?
Isn't that amazing how that works out sometimes?
Yeah.
By the way, the over-under.
Yeah, 40.
40 or 40 and a half.
Yeah.
Again, depending on where you looked.
How about that?
14 or 14 and a half.
Yeah.
40 or 40 and a half.
Yeah.
So you either got, the best you could do was the push.
Yeah.
Which just says everybody walks away. Get your money back. No harm, no foul. Or if you were at the wrong place, although I guess if you took the under on 40 and a half, you were a winner.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny, and I don't think I said it on the air. I said it off the air. Maybe I should have said it on. But I said, so Vegas thinks the final score is going to be 24-14 or 24-10. 24-10 Dallas is what Vegas is betting. And it happened to be, 27-13. So, I wasn't that far off there with what Vegas was thinking, and that's kind of where it landed. So.
Yep. So, Cowboys get it done. Josh Dobbs makes his first NFL start. He goes 20 of 39. We joked yesterday on the show of 27 pass attempts.
No, you joked.
Well, just so you know, 39 is the most they've attempted to pass in a game this season.
Yes. Yes, it is.
This entire year.
Yeah, that's correct.
Dobbs goes 20 of 39 for 232, a touchdown, and a pick.
And 2 fumbles.
I will say this. If it were not for some drop passes, his stats would have looked better.
Sure.
He had some bad drops. Mm-hmm. Honestly, guys like Robert Woods, veteran guy, he should have caught those. I mean, those are catches.
Listen.
Those need to be catches.
Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill can say the same thing.
Yeah.
For all across several of their games as well.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is you make some of those catches. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's probably he would have thrown for about 275 last night. Yeah. So, and now we're going to hear from Mike Vrabel here coming up shortly. But now, now everybody wants to know, okay, we've seen Josh Dobbs. In my opinion, Josh Dobbs looks way more prepared and ready to try to win them the next game than Malik Willis. What are they going to do? Who are they going with?
That is the key question here. That's what everybody wants to know.
And the thing with me is Josh Dobbs just looks absolutely like who should be your starter. But here's what we don't know. Mm-hmm. As you know, because you've been following the league just as long as me, see, there's this thing called there's tape on you now.
Oh, what?
And see, what happens is they get in a room for an entire week and they study you. See, this is how it works in the NFL.
And who is they?
Coaches.
Yes, and coaches know
their job.
Know something about football?
That's their job to know something about football.
Yeah.
You hope that they know how to break down your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so now they're going to prepare for you. You're on tape.
And these coaches know you pretty well, don't they? A lot of these coaches scouted you. As a matter of fact, some of these coaches used to coach you.
I was going to say may have coached you. Yeah.
Because, that's how the league works.
Well, he's been in the league for 6 years.
And he's been in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and he's played preseason games, and
Yes,
there's all that good stuff. So what we don't know, even while I'm going to sit here and tell you today for the next 2 hours, Josh Dobbs absolutely should be the starter against Jacksonville, 100%. What we don't know is when we get tape on you, does Josh Dobbs, and now that he's had that start and gotten it out of the way, can he be the same as last night or even better? Or now that there's tape on you and people study you and your tendencies and your strengths and more importantly your weaknesses, does he regress? Right? Does he not look the same?
Yeah.
Because there's better preparation for you.
Yeah.
Now, while the Titans knew they were going with Dobbs all week, the Dallas Cowboys may have not have known they were going with Dobbs all week.
True.
So they were probably preparing for a different quarterback.
They were. And, and that's how that rolls. So we'll find out what Vrabel thinks. And, obviously the decisions, I think by the fans have already been made about what they would like to see. But, of course, we'll hear from them, I'm sure, later on with regards to this. So
what I would like to know, Justin, is how much – because, look, if I'm just going to go from my little pond,
sure,
my little creek bed on social media, on Twitter, I put out on Twitter last night what Ryan Fitzpatrick, former Titans quarterback, said.
A lot of attention. Well,
halftime show.
Former everybody quarterback.
Thank you.
Ryan Tannehill.
But I felt
Ryan
since we're in Nashville, I have to say
yes.
Titans. But he was here for like a cup of coffee.
Yes.
But yes, he has bounced all over the
for
league.
A third of the league, literally.
He lasted a long time. And by the way, it was actually kind of funny because Clarissa Thompson asked him about Dak Prescott's interceptions and in the first half, and Ryan said, well, I appreciate you asking me that because there's nobody more equipped on this panel to talk about interceptions than me. So it was actually, it set him up for a great line, and they all got a kick out of that. But he said that there is no doubt in his mind when he was asked, do you think the Titans roll with Josh Dobbs next week against Jacksonville? And I quote, Ryan Fitzpatrick said, there is no doubt you keep Josh Dobbs as your starter next week against Jacksonville. So I posted that on Twitter, and I said, do you agree with this? And my Twitter feed has blown up ever since.
It
has not stopped.
Yes.
And, of course, people want – but the point of this is I want to know without knowing. I haven't looked at everybody's profile because I can't keep up with it.
How many of these
are Vols fans, right? Like how many just are like, hey, I'm rooting for Josh Dobbs. I'm a Vols fan.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about – I don't follow Liberty.
Yeah.
And Malik Willis hasn't looked great. And I'm going with my guy, my VFL.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just truly like, do I think he looked better? Was Josh Dobbs great last night? No, he wasn't great. Do I think he was considerably better than Malik Willis? Yes. But I want to know, do those people feel that way because of what they watched last night or because he's a VFL and I'm just going to say that no matter what? That's what I don't know. That is
curious about that. And I'm sure there's people in both camps out there who love what Joshua Dobbs did at Tennessee and feel very comfortable about what he saw, what they saw last night out of him. So that all plays together with all of this. Let me just express my feelings here about the situation. I think at this point in this entire episode that Joshua Dobbs clearly played a wonderful game last night because he led the Titans to more points than they ever had under Malik Willis. And he's actually just absolutely just was lights out with all of the things that he was able to do as far as the passer completion. His passer rating was much higher than Malik Willis' passer rating ever was. And it's clear that he is much more well equipped to play quarterback in the NFL based on just those things alone, just the amount of points he was able to put up last night, and what he was able to do as far as moving the offense was concerned. So I think that plays a huge part in all of this.
Remember yesterday I brought up La'el Collins for the Bengals?
Yeah.
They just put him on IR. That means he's done.
You know what? I'm sorry. I have a correction to make. It turns out Joshua Dobbs did not lead. It's 13 points. 13 points is up.
That's what the Titans had, yeah, 13.
13. Huh. Malik Willis had 14. Huh. Okay, well, I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. So, yes, wait a minute. Did Derrick Henry play last night? Derrick Henry didn't play?
No.
So they didn't have to force feed the ball to Derrick? So he threw the ball a lot more? Okay. I not sure who's the better quarterback here, honestly. I'm very conflicted. But ultimately, though, I think the decision has already kind of been made about Malik Willis. I don't think Malik Willis is long for this football team. I think the public sentiment to a large degree is kind of turned against Malik Willis a little bit, because what we saw last night is what a lot of football fans recognize and is good for the eyes there that happened last night. So because of that, I don't know if Malik Willis should even be here. I think they should try to move to something that's a little bit more familiar for football fans that they can see. A guy who can throw the ball from the pocket. When I hear people talk about Malik Willis, his throwing motion's funny. What's wrong with him? He looks lost. So Joshua Dobbs' throwing motion looks normal, and he didn't look lost. He missed some guys, but a lot of people miss guys. So I just think that at this particular point, I don't know if this franchise is ready for what Malik Willis will be or won't be. I think his style is way too different. And I think at this point, he was a John Robinson draft pick. And I think at this point, it's better if if the Titans moved on from him. If they could trade him, get a sack of footballs for him or whatever. I honestly believe that. It's a bad cultural fit for the style of game Malik Willis has and what he can ultimately be. I don't think will ever fit here.
Well, while it was an avalanche of Dobbs last night, 99%, it was absolutely you go with Dobbs. I will say a lot of the comments that I got, again, my small sampling, my small world on social media, there were a lot of people saying, but Dobbs, Willis just needs time. He's not ready. He needs a lot more time. He's a project. I kept hearing projects seem to be a theme on my Twitter timeline last night.
Yeah, but whose project is he?
Well, I guess it depends on how you feel about him if you're the Titans, and we don't know how they truly feel about him. If they feel like the project can turn into something, he just needs to be seasoned over time, and it could turn into something, then they're going to stay with him. If they feel like this is probably going to be a bit too much for him, it's overwhelming, this is what he is, which I don't know how they feel, then they're going to move on from him. They just will. But I don't know how they feel. I don't know if they think why would you not think Josh Dobbs was going to look more comfortable last night? He's been in the league for 6 years.
Because he hasn't played a whole lot, though.
But he practices every week, and he sees the speed of the game.
He does.
For 6 years.
No, he practices.
He gets teams prepared to play their opponent for 6 years.
Yeah.
So he's around the speed of the game for 6 years.
He also just got there last week.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield showed up 2 days before the Rams game.
Baker Mayfield is the exception and not the rule.
Well, I understand. But I'm saying, how could you think somebody who's not already been in the league wasn't going to look? Malik Willis, yes, he's been in the league this season, but he's still a guy who's a rookie.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs is in his 6th year.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would have been more alarming if Dobbs would have looked like Malik Willis last night. It would have been like you got to move on. Like if Dobbs looks exactly like Willis and he's been in the league for 6 years, then he's not your answer either. You got to move on from him. He needs to look more prepared. He needs to look more comfortable. He's been in the league for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his first NFL start, but he's been around the speed of the game for 6 years.
Yeah.
He knows what it looks like.
He does. So, and he showed it last night. It looked, more polished.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Again, It should look more polished.
Yeah, it looked more polished. There's still lots of problems, but it looked more polished. So
I would be shocked if it looked clean and perfect with the roster they put out there last night. That would have been hard to do.
Yeah.
That would have been hard to do. All right. We will come back and find out if Mike Vrabel thought he was polished, if he thought he was a better option. We'll find out if Mike Vrabel, how far he's willing to go with that conversation, because he got asked today. He did speak to the media a couple of hours ago following last night's loss to the Cowboys. So we'll hear from the head coach, and we'll do that next here on the McFarland Show, WNSR.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Douglas is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
My name is Douglas. I'm 79 and I live in Chicago. I'm a writer, director. I used to be a marathon runner. Now I'm a walker. In the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. Memory became a factor. As everyone gets older, where did I put my keys? But I had to get help to stay competitive. I happened across Prevagen and I started taking it. I saw myself having an improved memory, which at the same time, I felt better about myself. I could not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for Prevagen.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
It's a Bill King Show.
Somebody asked me, this ascension of Tennessee football, is it sustainable? I think it is sustainable. Their recruiting ranking school. You can get A-plus personnel to Rocky Top, Tennessee. And the state is now way better than it ever was in its past, producing players.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Back here on the McFarland Show, final one of 2022. Programming note, we'll be off Monday. So we'll kick off 2023 on Tuesday. Get you ready for the finality of the Titans season. Darren and Justin here with you, Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studio. Don't forget you can watch us every day. Hello, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's hear what head coach Mike Vrabel said today to the media following last night's loss.
Morning, Teresa.
Have you had a chance to look at the film, and if so, what did maybe Dobbs do that may have impressed you more than when you thought originally during the game?
Well, I think there was some a guy that's just been here pretty much just the 8 or 9 days, week and a half, just the operation, the understanding, got us into some good plays, made some mistakes, like to have a few of those back. I thought he invested in some completions. Was able to get the ball out of his hand. And I thought he was, made some really good throws on third down. We had the situation there at the end of the half which is good to be able to get that ball over there to Traylon and get us some points there before the end of the half. So, a lot of positives, a lot of things that we'll have to improve on, and see where we go next week.
You said you've got a tough decision to make. What kind of goes into that decision as you evaluate both quarterbacks?
Well, I think in the end it's the same at who gives you the best chance to win one game. That's where we're at. That's the only thing that matters is winning one game, getting healthy, getting rested, getting recovered, and then winning one game and finding out who's going to do that. And they probably both will at some point in time.
Wyatt, can you take us back through the process of the decision to sign Josh sight unseen off of a practice squad at the quarterback position? Because, there's not a lot of game film on him from regular season. What made him worth the risk?
Well, I think you're just trying to evaluate what when Ryan's unavailable at that point in time, and now going forward. What the vision that you have for the position, how you think you can have somebody come in here and learn and work with. Went through a bunch of names, went through a bunch of conversations, and that's who we ended up with, and excited that he's here, and I thought he took advantage of his opportunity, and we'll see where that leads.
Did anybody on the staff, scouting wise or coaching staff, have any prior connection to him to kind of give you some insight on him?
I don't think nobody coached him per se. I think just, the evaluations that we've had from him in the past and kind of what he's done and his ability to, he had some veteran presence, not a whole lot of, game experience, but certainly has been around and been in this league and, is prepared. And that was something that was evident from an early point in time when he got here.
With the production and the decisiveness we saw last night, what makes the decision tough?
I just want to make sure that we're, that every decision that we make, we want to try to put some thought into and make sure that it's thought out, and we'll see what goes after this weekend.
As far as that decision going into yesterday, how much was it something that you may not have gotten from Malik Willis as opposed to just wanting to get Dobbs out there to see what you
It was pretty much everything, just make a decision and go from there.
How much did downfield element in a passing game help last night? How important was it to get some downfield shots?
Well, it was, huge for to be able to move the ball down the field and have Racy come down with it, and, going to need to see some other guys that can go and, make some plays, or whether it's the catch and runs. We've seen those. Our ability to execute some of those plays to get guys to the second level. Julius had a nice one of those, and we'll continue to try to throw the ball down the field. We have to connect. I thought Traylon did his best to adjust to that ball. I think that there's some really cool things there, and fortunately felt like the guy grabbed his left arm and he wasn't able to catch it. But for him to come back and not fall, not run out of bounds, I thought he was in a great position to adjust to that ball. We just need more of those.
Frustrating where I guess with the drops and what has to happen there, other than guys just simply catching the ball.
Guys simply just have to catch the ball. I don't know. We had 19 jugs machines, and everybody catches them on the jugs. We just, when you go out there, you only get one opportunity sometimes, and you have to hit it. And it's the same with situations on defense. When a play's needed to be made, to win, you have to make them.
How much did the approach maybe of this week and having now a weekend to rest help get this team a little bit healthier for this final game?
Well, it should. It should. And again, I have a lot of appreciation for the way that everybody handled last week. I know it was different and unique, but it was the situation. And again, we can't avoid distractions. The only thing we can do is how we handle them. I thought everybody was prepared. I thought they played hard, not without mistake. I thought we beat ourselves too many times to win the football game. But, I thought guys were ready to go. I thought they, executed at times. Looked like exactly like we needed to do to win. Just unfortunate that it wasn't consistent enough and we made too many mistakes.
How crowded is the training room during a weekend off?
I think that the guys that need the treatment will be there. It's, there's nothing more important than the health of the team. And if you can't play and you don't play, You're expected to be in there in treatment. I'm sure there'll be a big group because everybody, they want to feel better. They don't want to not feel well going into the biggest week of the season.
Assuming you do get some of the kind of the big names back that rested the other night, how much of a psychological lift does that provide too?
I think it can. I think, again, it's about going out and performing. So the players that go out there have to perform and have to do their job, have to do their job well, not just show up and walk out there. That won't be enough.
David Long would be eligible to return after 4 weeks. Is there a chance he could get activated into his window this week?
Yeah, we better get to it here before too long. So hopeful that maybe he does, and he can try to see if he can help us through a week of practice.
You got any indication from the league on when you'll play? And I guess your schedule will be dictated by whether it's Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, I would imagine that's going to go through Monday night. So based on however that Monday night game goes, we'll be ready to play whenever they want us to play.
It's kind of, I guess, it's a big decision. You only have the one IR remaining. Is it certainly, if assuming David Long is ready to go, is it he's the guy?
Yeah, I think you're kind of running out of options. I would say, like if you're talking about Harold Landry, yeah, he's not going to be coming back.
About the challenge with Jacksonville.
Why are they laughing at you, John?
I'm laughing at you.
Right? Just ask the question. I feel like. What is the challenge, Mike? I guess against Jacksonville second time around, based on what you saw.
Well, the challenge is just try to do some of the things that we did really well, which was, have 9 explosive gains on offense, move the football, not turn it over, not make some very critical mistakes in the way that we handled the football, not give up X plays, not allow them to catch short gains that turn into 20 or 30 yards, catch and runs. If they beat you, they beat you, but not beating ourselves. Trying to affect the quarterback, and again, that's by getting there, forcing them off the spot. That's by tipping passes. That's like doing some of those things a little bit better. And making sure that we're not beating ourselves. That there's a lot of good things from that tape. It's a close football game. We're winning a football game on their side of the 50, and we turn it over, gain another first down on an X play into the red zone, turn it over. Then we're backed up. Don't execute a blocking assignment. The quarterback gets the ball stripped out. And defensively, we give up a 3rd and 2 for a catch and run touchdown. A lot of those things that just really not making them earn it. We're just making mistakes there. And if they earn it and they beat us, then that's what they do.
So many guys that were unavailable last night and other guys maybe that were not completely familiar with what's going on, how much do you appreciate the way Kevin Byard played last night?
Thanked him countless times for his leadership throughout the week, his performance. Again, we need our best players to play good for us to win, and it was a winning performance. With ball production, I thought he tackled well. I thought he communicated and again gave us a presence there, not only in the game but throughout the week.
When you look at this 6-game streak that you have of losing, like how tough is it to flip that switch and go out there and do what you have to do, this upcoming week against Jacksonville?
Well, I think we've been through this, whether you win 6 or lose 6. It doesn't matter really what you did last week. It's not going to matter what you did yesterday. We just have to play better. And we've seen it happen in this league numerous times throughout the year, throughout this season, last season. There's only one game that matters, and that's this one.
Any chance LaRaven or Zach could get into the mix for left tackle for the finale?
I think we'll look at everything, but I think we see a lot of things differently. So we'll continue to try to, give ourselves the best chance to succeed. And, I think we all kind of just have to make sure we understand what we're looking at when we look at it. And, Nobody's blocking perfectly. Nobody's running the ball. Nobody's throwing it perfectly. But, we're just trying to make sure we get the guys in the right place.
How much, I know the pass pressure wasn't great, but with Trey and Roger, is there technique breakdown that's hurting them in the end?
Technique. Grab the guy around the waist down the field. We're not coaching that technique. I think Roger's an aggressive player, and I think he'll start to get some of those calls. We just need, maybe our receivers start getting some of those calls where, we throw our hands up, and I don't know. But, yeah, we can't. We got a challenge down the field. Roger did at times. They tried him down the sideline. He had the guy covered on the side. I think he was an aggressive player. Trey, I don't have an answer for you, Paul. I don't.
I guess we've seen the last of Andrew Adams. How much did you appreciate how he came in here?
Well, he did just come in here from another team and learn the system really quickly. Played a bunch of positions for us. Had some production. Played through a lot of pain and bumps and bruises and wrist and this and that, and it meant something to him. It meant a lot to him to have this opportunity, and disappointed that he won't be able to help us here going forward. But we'll see where things go in the future. But he did everything that we asked him to, and I think he did everything that he could do to take advantage of his opportunity.
There you go. That was about 90% of Mike Vrabel, and so
you got a sense there.
Yeah, we heard enough, and
yeah,
I think he was done.
Yeah,
he had taken enough. He had fielded enough questions at that point.
And listen, this goes for every coach. Darren and I have done hundreds of these press conferences. Sometimes you could tell the coach has kind of had enough.
Yeah,
kind of had enough, and you get a full lid, and you don't know where it's going to go after that. So,
I'll tell you what did jump out at me. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. The Dennis Daly question. Did Mike Vrabel just tell us, I don't know what you guys are looking at, but we're totally fine with Dennis Daly? Or is he telling us, look around, we don't have any other options?
That's what he's saying. That's what he's been saying.
Yeah.
If you listen, listen. You can say what you want about Mike Vrabel. On this left tackle thing, he's been very, very consistent about what the options are. He doesn't apparently see a whole lot out there. This was pre-John Robinson. This is post-John Robinson. He's had a chance to look out there on the practice squads and on the streets, and he's decided this is the best we're going to do.
John Robinson traded for Dennis Daly.
I understand.
Traded for Dennis Daly.
Apparently, they've looked, and they've now.
What did they see?
This is the best we're going to do right now. Apparently,
by the way, that was in the off season.
Yes, in the off season. Yes, you're right. But I'm just saying, because listen, they've signed a bunch of dudes.
Look, I don't know Dennis Daly. I don't know him. I don't have any I haven't had a run in with him or something. I don't know him. I've never talked to him.
Yeah,
never been around him. But if that doesn't paint the picture of how bad this roster is, when Mike Vrabel, whatever he was saying, again, I don't know if he was that's why I perked up. You saw my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Is he defending it? I don't know what you guys are seeing, but I'm paraphrasing.
Sure.
I don't know what you guys are seeing about Dennis Daly, but he looks pretty good to me. I don't think that's what Mike Vrabel was saying. Probably he was saying, look, I get it. You guys keep beating me up over Dennis Daly. There are no better options. I know he can't say that. Maybe I'm sure that's what he's saying.
Yeah. He's reading between the lines. If there were better players, it'd be out there.
We'd have him out there. Yeah. And he's probably, I get it. He's probably tired of because Dennis Daly, I'm sorry, he's awful. Those 2 false starts on 4th down in a row.
Everybody can see.
In a row.
Everybody can see. It's just about whether or not you can do anything different. I know and listen, I've been there too sometimes where you just want to try something different just for the sake of trying something different. Show me it can be worse. Just show, because I don't believe you. So show me it can be worse. Just show me. Put something else out there and show me it can be worse. And Mike Vrabel says, you got to take my word for it.
We've tried and practiced.
We know
it's not
it
going to
be
be
worse.
better.
This is it. So that's
By
what
the
Mike
way,
Vrabel
did
said.
you see Daly's mannerisms, his body language on those false starts?
No.
It wasn't good.
No.
It was not good. It was like, I'm so stupid.
I mean,
which means, honestly, and this is not a pile on Dennis State, but it's clear he's hearing the noise. Or maybe he's hearing the noise inside the building. And maybe his coach is screaming
you don't
at
have to
him.
hear the noise. He watches film. They sit in the room.
I know.
They have an offensive line coach, and they sit in sessions.
Yeah.
This isn't about noise. The noise is right there.
He just smacked his helmet on the second one. Like, oh,
I mean,
gosh.
I don't. You know,
Oh,
what you know. This is where he is.
615-844-5600 is our number to get in touch with us. We'll take a quick break. Tony in Nolensville, we'll get to you on the other side here on the McFarland Show.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Fill the halls with shouts of winning, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be giving, fa la 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 la. Instant games to friends and family, fa la 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 la. Join the joyous cash prize carol, fa la 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 la.
With top prizes up to $500,000, Holiday Instant Games from the Tennessee Lottery make grand gifts. Find them at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer today. Please play and gift responsibly. Are you suffering from bad gift giving? Look for the signs. Do people avoid eye contact when opening your gifts? When your friends say, you really shouldn't have, do they really mean you really shouldn't have? On more than one occasion, have you been re-gifted the same gift you gifted that person the year before? If so, the new Holiday Instant Games from the Tennessee Lottery might be right for you. Available now at your local retailer. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly. Side effects include invitations to more parties and less awkward looks at gift exchanges.
If you need a staycation or planning a trip to Music City, stay at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Voted the best boutique hotel in the city by the Nashville Scene. Bento Living is located on the edge of bustling downtown and boasts on-site dining, shopping, live entertainment on the rooftop, and free fitness classes. Come experience Nashville like a local. Visit bentochestnuthill.com to book your Music City vacation today.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today is going to be partly mostly cloudy. Showers increasingly likely. High 66. Cloud showers and maybe a thunderstorm tonight into Saturday. Low tonight 54. Then a stray shower Saturday afternoon. High 62. Utilizing the resources of the Butterbug Network on National Sports Radio. I'm WNSR's meteorologist Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio WNSR.
615-844-5600 is how you can get in touch with us. Let's go to Nolensville. Tony is standing by. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys. And before I get off here, and don't want to forget it, I want to wish y'all a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mr.
Thank
Tony.
you, and
Yep.
Happy New Year to you. There's a guy that comes on right after y'all that sits in those same chairs. I think I'm the one Justin sits in, who I know could do just as well at left tackle. Even though he was a center, I know he could do just as well as a left tackle. And no worse than what we have out there at the Titans. That's my personal opinion.
Bruno played some guard as well. Bruno played some guard as well.
You're looking at his football card?
Yes, I've got his football card right here. For those of us who can see us online.
What's the sticker at the top? What does that say?
It says 1 cent.
Oh, 1 cent.
Because he thinks that's about how much it's worth.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty good. Guys, think of this. I was sitting last night thinking of this. But I watched part of the game. I didn't watch it in its entirety. Watched bits and pieces of it. You got Trevor Lawrence that come out. He didn't have a great year now, but he was still really starting. You could see the promise there. Tua come out. You could see the potential there. Jalen Hurts, Burrow, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones. How did we get somebody like Willis?
Well, you just named first-round picks. Malik Willis was a third-round pick.
First-round picks right there. And all these players that come from, nice big colleges and Power 5 conferences get on these teams, the NFL draft, and we went to a non-Power 5, and we've got Willis, and he dropped from 1 to 3. Now, he might have potential in the future, but we're looking at a guy. We ended up with a guy that hadn't even thrown for 100 yards in 3 games he started. We're not correct on that?
He has not thrown for over 100 yards in a game yet, no.
Correct. And here we have to go to another emergency signee in Josh Dobbs, who played reasonably well, being he's been here all of 6 or 7 days. And but I mean, you just look at that situation and it's sad that we've got that situation there, and the situation that, as I just said, left tackle.
Well, and I don't think it really has anything to do with where you played at school, Tony. I mean, for example, Dennis Daly, we were just talking about this during the break. He played in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And so he's an SEC guy. And quite honestly, I'm not sure he looks like he played at Cuyahoga Community College and not South Carolina. I mean, I'm sorry. Nothing against him, but it's just not working. It's not good enough. It's not even close to being good enough. And he played at South Carolina. I mean, Josh Allen played at Wyoming. So, I mean, where they played, I don't really look into that. Malik Willis played at Liberty. And right now it's just about, it just looks like he's still at Liberty to me. Like, the game is too fast.
I think at that position, it does matter.
Well,
I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, we don't have them, and I might be off base on that. So, but that's just something I was looking at last night. I was just going down the list of, rookie quarterbacks and quarterbacks that when they come out in the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, this guy is so far from even remotely being ready. That's why we're going to have to sign Tannehill. It's crucial he signs and comes back next year, because if he don't,
he's already signed.
He's already signed. To go after Carr, I think.
He doesn't have to sign.
He's under contract. Situation.
Tony, he's under contract.
You have to I think it's crucial. Now, one more thing, and I'm going to get off here, is this next year, the NCAA has got to, it's not going to be the federal government. It's not going to be the U.S. government or anybody like that. They're not going to get involved in the college football game. The Supreme Court announced that when they voted 9-0. They don't want nothing to do with the NIL song. So the NCAA is going to have to do some type of tweaking to this NIL stuff and either the transfer portal or something. There's got to be a governing body that has got to do some tweaking. I'm going to let y'all talk about that, see what y'all's comments about it, because it's out of control now. We all know it, and it's just going to get worse if somebody don't get some type of governing policies and rules on this stuff.
Okay.
We've seen through the bowl season players who've entered the portal still playing in the bowl game.
Yep.
We've seen where players enter the portal and coaches don't want them even around the program no more.
Yep.
So it's crazy.
It is
crazy.
Tony,
Guys,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, always
Tony.
good talking to you.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you next year.
Yep, you too. I don't know. You're asking the NCAA to do something? They don't have any teeth. We've learned this over the years. They have no teeth.
No.
They just have gums, and so they don't have. They can't really do. Is it out of control? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what has the NCAA ever proven that they know how to fix things, do the right thing, have any common sense? So, yeah, I don't. It's out of control, but I don't know what they're going to do to change it.
Or not just them, but anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the Supreme Court ruling did. It took the lid off. So now there's
Open
nothing
season.
that can. It's free market.
Yep.
The same way anything else is the car dealerships, the airlines, it is complete free market now.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just going to take a complete shift in mindset here for all of us over the next 5 to 10 years about the way college football is going to look. It is not going back.
No.
It is.
Not.
We're forging ahead
when the
with
floodgates
a
are
brand new,
open. You can't. That dam is not going to get shut.
It's over.
It's over.
The innocence is gone.
Yep.
So this is where we are now. We are in a new realm of semi-professional sports.
Let me tell you where it's going to be affected, because you're right. The player side of things, it's not going to change.
No.
Here's what's going to change. This is what I'm going to be watching very closely.
Yeah.
It's going to change the coaching. I'm going to tell you right now, Ryan Day is a prime example. Ryan Day is not happy at Ohio State right now. Ryan Day, sorry, Devlin.
I see where you're going. Go for it.
Because now, if you don't have the dough,
yeah.
Because this, like you said, it's open season.
Can't compete.
Texas A&M is going, come on.
Yeah.
Come on to College Station. We got whatever you want.
Yeah.
You got this stuff over here to the right, this stuff over here to the left.
Yeah.
What do you want? Come on down here.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It's not open season in Columbus right now.
No.
And I don't know if it's going to change. And if it's not going to be open season in Columbus, Ryan Day ain't going to stick around. Because he's at Ohio State to compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
And if he feels like he can no longer compete at the highest level because truly him and his staff are out recruiting other programs, and in the end, the family goes, yeah, sorry, love you. But you know what? Fill in the blank school, they're just going to give us a whole boatload of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going there.
Yeah.
We love you. You did the right thing. You sold us.
Absolutely.
We'd be there
Great
in Columbus.
school.
Great school. We'd be in Columbus.
Great tradition,
with you.
stadium.
Yeah. But you know what?
OHIO.
Down there. Yeah. OH. Oh, Devin was supposed
there
to
you
finish
go.
it. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm late. IO. Yep.
he was relaxing in his chair. If they feel like their schools are not, if they do not have open season funds and they can't compete anymore, and they've been used to doing that,
yeah,
they're going to leave.
Yeah.
Those coaches are going to bail.
Yeah.
They're either going to go to the school that does have the unlimited funds, or they're going to the NFL.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to get affected the most.
Yeah.
Ryan Day is already unhappy at Ohio State because currently they are not competing when it comes to NIL. When it comes to, hey, what do you need? How much you want?
Yeah.
Because A&M is doing that and others are doing that.
Here's another aspect to this we haven't even begun to think about. Where is there the most money concentrated in this country in particular? It is not in Tuscaloosa. It is not in Columbus, Ohio.
It's in Texas.
It's places like Texas, but let me introduce you to this place. Maybe you've heard about it, called New York City. Let me introduce you to another place called Chicago, Illinois, and places like that have large corporations headquartered there with a lot of cash and capital that could invest very easily into other schools in that area that are really not college football powerhouses right now. But how much would it take to really get Rutgers up and going? How much would it take to get Houston football, a ton of money so they can get, because there was a time when the University of Miami was not a major player. They don't have a deep, deep history going all the way back. Their history of being good is relatively recent. So it doesn't have to be this way. It can be a very different game over the course of the next 10 years if the right corporate partners decide to get involved.
That's what I'm getting at. That's exactly if Ryan Day starts losing out to Illinois, he's bailing. I'm just telling you. If Illinois found this kitty, right?
Yeah.
Ex-corporation from Chicago that's a Illinois alum.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
Whatever you need, we got you.
What happens if the people at J.P. Morgan
Exactly.
decide,
thank you,
we're going to pour into Rutgers?
All of a sudden, they're going to Rutgers instead of Ohio State. Ryan Day's like, see you later. Because he can't control that, right?
No.
Like, it's not about him and his staff out recruiting you.
You can't
It's about
out-recruit
just
that.
going to the
No.
highest bidder.
Yeah.
And if he feels like, I can't compete with that, he's out. Let's go to Eric. Eric, what's up?
Hey, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah. Hey, guys, just want to tell you about last night. Of course, I went to the Cowboys-Titans game at Nissan Stadium last night, and
Yes,
one thing I'm glad I did, I'm glad I took a poncho because I was debating whether or not to take it. Yeah, I'm glad I did because if I didn't, I would have gotten soaking wet because I took it just in case. I wasn't sure if we weren't going to get rain or not. But for me, it was just a bunch of mixed emotions because I was sitting by a ton of Cowboys fans, of course, which I won, and I was telling them, you know what, guys, I'm not going to be too upset if I lose because there's still a part of me that loves Cowboys. I've been a fan since the mid-'70s. Remember the days of Staubach and Landry and Too Tall Jones, who, by the way, and I will still say this to this day, it's a crime that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Ridiculous. But I don't want to get off on that.
There's a push going on. There's a push going on. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Veterans Committee and all that.
And I'm with you. We're with you on that. What do you think the percentage? I'm just asking you to guess. What do you think the percentage of Cowboys fans were last night?
If I had to guess, it looked like it was more Cowboys fans, Titans fans. It looked tough to see. Definitely was an upper deck, but I would say it was. It looked like to me it was more than 50%, but I don't know that for sure. But there were a ton of fans there.
Okay.
But it is what it is. But I will say about the game, guys, give credit to Josh Dobbs. I thought, despite the fact he had only been in here like 8 or 9 days, he played as well as could be expected. There were a couple of times where he might have been off a little bit of passes, and there was like a couple where it might have been behind the save receivers, but there were several drops, guys. There were at least 3 or 4 receivers that dropped the ball, and if that had not happened, he would have had a lot better game. And I like the fact they were rolling them out where they had him throwing the balls, guys. But just a couple of things that I'll get off. First of all, just the fact that the Titans were banged up, beat up as they were, played as great as they was, I mean, just amazing. And what about Kevin Byard? He had 2 picks last night, and he broke up another pass. This guy just, what can you say about him? No matter what the situation is, he plays his fanny off. I mean, I was just appreciative of that. And, guys, I don't want to get into this. We wouldn't have won the game last night. But the officiating, I also listened to the game on the radio while I was there with Coach Mack saying, it stunk. It was awful. 10 penalties for 3. Give me a break. I mean, and to me, the frustrating is, guys, if you're going to call the things, at least be consistent. I thought those rush from the passer call that we should have got it, we didn't get. Traylon Burks definitely got mugged, and there was no flag. I mean, are you kidding me? Now, the guy that definitely got called for the 51-yard penalty, that was the correct call. I didn't have a problem with that. But the other issue with the Prescott flag is it looked like the guy hesitated for a minute before he threw the game.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
And I'm not going to say give the game to Dallas, but there were some people that were complaining like that. And I've heard some of that. But even though I love the Cowboys, guys, it just, I mean, the officiating, either just let them play or be consistent if you're going to do that. It just made absolutely no sense. Guys, I'll get off. Guys, y'all take care. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Happy New Year, Eric. I'm with you. I don't think it was going to change the outcome of the game. Well, I know it wasn't going to change it. Was it good? No, it wasn't. By the way, that was a classic helmet to helmet. It was classic roughing the passer, but it's Josh Dobbs versus, was that Parsons?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Micah Parsons, star. Josh Dobbs, first NFL start. I mean, unfortunately, that's the breaks. Star usually gets the call, not Dallas Stars.
No.
Not Dallas Cowboys with the star.
Not like that, no.
But Micah Parsons, star in the league. But if that was Tom Brady, I mean, I'd have no doubts it would have been roughing the passer.
Just real quick on Kevin Byard with the interceptions last night. He is now the most productive defensive back in the history of the Titans, not the Oilers, but the Titans era. 27 interceptions for Kevin Byard with that couple last night.
He was great last night, and that was pass interference. It should have been. He was holding Traylon Burke's arm down. He held it down. Like, you cannot grab an arm and hold it down. We'll come back. We'll start with Steve Lehman from News Channel 5 to kick off hour number 2. That's next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. New York City Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell says they're ready for tomorrow's Times Square New Year's Eve ball drop.
You will see thousands of uniformed police officers out there on post, in addition to the many officers assigned to their regular duties of patrolling all of our neighborhoods throughout the streets, subways, and housing developments.
Sewell says there are no specific credible threats to New York or any events. A 28-year-old man in custody in Pennsylvania in connection with the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Brian Koberger has already appeared before a judge who has ordered his extradition to Idaho. Police are expected to have more information at an afternoon news conference. Southwest Airlines CEO Bob Jordan says they'll make good with customers for this week's flight cancellations that left thousands stranded. President Biden's administration has finalized regulations that protect hundreds of thousands of small streams, wetlands, and other waterways. This is ABC News.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I hate the struggle of tough, greasy messes on my stovetop. So I just wipe, and I'm done.
When I'm frustrated with stubborn bathtub soap scum, I just wipe, and I'm done.
Mr. Clean Clean Freak delivers an innovative cleaning experience with a powerful deep cleaning mist that starts working on contact to break down tough messes in seconds.
Just
wipe,
done.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Listen.
You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Final hour of 2022 for the McFarland Show. And before we bring in our next guest, Steve Lehman from News Channel 5 to talk about last night's loss to the Cowboys, let's make it official. Ruh-roh.
Technical difficulty, sorry about that.
False start.
What? Dennis
is not to blame on this one.
Devlin. All right, let's try it again.
Richmond 96 double.
And now, it's time for Darren and Justin's Big Game Reaction. Sponsored by ABS Communications. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. Call Mark and the gang today at 615-349-8588 or visit them online at abscomm.net. ABS Communications. They make complex simple.
Steve, was that too harsh on Dennis Daly? Too much?
I thought it was appropriate given what we've seen in the last few weeks. Although, there's some other candidates on that offensive line too. Dylan Radins.
Yeah.
Nicholas Petit-Frere. So you can pick any number of the offensive linemen for the Titans with a false start.
Well, what did you make, speaking of that, what did you make of, we were trying to, get in the mind, which is a dangerous place, trying to figure out what is the head coach really saying when he was asked about Dennis Daly. His answer, what did you make of that? What was he really telling us?
I think, honestly, what he's saying is they don't have anyone better than that. It's not that he thinks that Dennis Daly is playing suitable football at the left tackle position. I think he just looks around and says, who else am I going to put in there? You think this is bad? Wait and see what happens if we go to somebody else. Look, LaRaven Clark got in there last night and did not exactly set the world on fire. It's well documented the struggles we've seen with Dylan Radins over the last 2 years. This is just the offensive line, whether you're talking about the starters or whether you're talking about the backups, just isn't very good. You get past a Taylor Lewan, who obviously has been hurt since the first play of week 2. You get past a Ben Jones, who's a leader of this team, but now is on injured reserve. There's just not a lot there. Maybe Nate Davis is a consistent guy, but now he's hurt out on injured reserve. And you've got Aaron Brewer, who's a guy that can move around. But let's face it, he's an undersized guard in this league. And if everything else around him is good, I think Aaron Brewer can be a solid part of a good offensive line. Right now, he's being asked to be the best member of the offensive line, and that's probably not a good recipe.
Steve, I put a tweet out 18 hours ago, and my timeline has not stopped moving in those 18 hours. And my tweet said this: former Titans quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, for a minute, and he wasn't here very long, just said on the halftime show that there is no doubt you keep Josh Dobbs as your starter next week. Do you agree with that? And that was my tweet. Like I said, my timeline has not stopped moving. 99%. It is yes, hell yes. Are you kidding me with this question? Of course it's yes. But what I don't know is, are those 99% VFLs? I don't know who these people are. But in all seriousness, what do you make of Dobbs' first career start? And do you think he indeed will be trotted out there to start against Jacksonville?
He's got to play next week. He gives them the best chance to win in a game that, let me remind you, is still for the division championship and a chance to host a first-round playoff game at Nissan Stadium. I give them next to no chance if Malik Willis is the quarterback next week. I give them a chance if Josh Dobbs is the quarterback. I still think the Jaguars are probably the better team, given the state of both rosters at this point, but I at least give the Titans a chance to go on the road if Josh Dobbs is the quarterback. What you saw last night was an offense that operationally looked better. Now, he had a bunch of plays that he'd like to have back. The interception wasn't good. He's got to hold on. I mean, he was going to get sacked, but he's got to hold on to that football in the first half. That's the type of play that you maybe get points out of that drive if you're just able to hold on to it. He had another play where he got stripped, he got the ball back, and then he nearly threw a pick along the sideline. Those are the types of plays that you absolutely have to avoid. But over the course of 60-plus plays in the game, I thought the Titans' offense looked functional last night. And I don't think you can say that about any point in time that Malik Willis has been the starter. In the 3 games he played, their total number of completions was 25. 2 of those games, he had the single lowest completion total by his starting quarterback in the NFL this year. He's 1 and 2 for the worst numbers of that. Josh Dobbs threw for more yards in the first half last night than he had in any game this season that he played in or started. It just is simply a better offense right now with Dobbs out there. That's not to say Dobbs is a perfect quarterback by any means, but the Titans are much better with him, so therefore they have to play it next week and give themselves the best chance that they can to win this division and get into the playoffs. I will say this, Darren, I'm surprised it's 99-1 because I said yesterday, essentially, and I was more asking the question, but I meant what I was asking, is the Malik Willis era over already with this move? And a ton of people, I bet 50%, got in my mentions and said, oh, no, they're just resting the starters tonight. He's just like Derrick Henry or Jeffrey Simmons or go on and on and on down the list. And I said, I don't think you rest a guy who hasn't thrown for 100 yards. If you believe in Malik Willis and think he's the guy to play for you next week in Jacksonville, you wanted him on the field last night because you want him to get as many reps as possible. If you could play 3 more games before next weekend, you would want Malik Willis to get those reps to try to see if he can improve and get a little bit better, a little more comfortable, a little more decisive. You'd want all those things. Instead, the Titans went to Josh Dobbs last night, and I think we all saw a better quarterback, at least right now, and an offense that was more proficient.
So that does bring up the question, Devlin, it's going to be okay. It does bring up the question, is Malik Willis a project? Is he a guy that they're just going to have to move on from, that he's just not going to be good enough? Like, where do you think and again, I'm just asking you to give your opinion. Nobody truly knows how they feel over there when the doors are closed. But what do you think this means for Willis moving forward?
I hate to say it, Darren, but I think he's done. I don't think this is a guy that you can just get an off season with or get into next season and all of a sudden it looks different than this. He just looks indecisive and without the ability to make throws in a timely manner that has to happen. And in this league, you have to be ready to get the ball out. You have to be accurate with it. And you have to make the right decisions. And I still go back, and I know this was his first start, so we're backing up 2 months. But in the first half of that game in Houston, the Titans got the ball at the 40-yard line in positive position after a turnover. It was the perfect time to take a shot play. And Todd Downing drew up a beautiful one. Henry was running the ball effectively. The Texans were selling out to stop the run. They crashed him hard into the line on a play action, and Malik Willis goes back, and there is one route. It is Chigakonkwo, and he is wide open. There is no decision. It is literally fake the handoff, get back there, set your feet, and throw it, and it's a touchdown. And he went back there, and he shuffled his feet, he double-clutched, he stepped up in the pocket, and he overthrew him by 8 yards. That is just simply not an NFL play. And we're not talking about NFL 400-level stuff or things that you're asking Drew Brees or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning to do. We're talking about the most basic level play that I think you'd ask a college quarterback, maybe even a high school quarterback, to make. And he didn't make it in that moment. And that was the first moment when I really thought, oh, boy, this may be something other than just a project where you have to work with them. And since then, I haven't seen anything that changes my mind with that. Not to say it can't happen, but I haven't seen any evidence of it.
Yeah, and I think the other part that's going to play into this, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but if they go out and they beat Jacksonville with Dobbs, and Dobbs looks, serviceable and good, just in the court of public opinion with the fan base, you'll never be able to get, you know what I mean? Like it'll been at that point, it's going to go too far, and you can't come back from that. If you're Willis, I don't even know if I said that correctly, but you know where I'm getting at? Like, it's going to be an avalanche if Dobbs wins this game. And heaven forbid if he actually were to steal a playoff game, it's over then.
Well, yes, I do know where you're going with that. And I think if Josh Dobbs does any or both of those things, there's going to be a huge push to bring him back next year. Maybe not necessarily as your starting quarterback, but as a guy who needs to be on the roster, because you've now seen what he can do in an emergency situation and making you a functional football team, and in that case, a winning football team. You haven't seen that from Malik Willis. And I'm not saying he won't be here next year, but it's looking harder and harder to imagine a place where he can be your starting quarterback. And this is where I had the problem with the draft pick all along. And I think I've told you guys this before. They traded up in the third round to draft Willis, who at best is a project quarterback in this league, when they already had a guy, Ryan Tannehill, who's got the highest cap hit of any quarterback in the league this year. Now, that's a totally different story, but clearly Ryan Tannehill was going to be the starter this year. So you're drafting a guy to come in and sit there and watch. But here's my beef with that, is at the end of the season, and they still have to make this decision, whatever your decision is with Tannehill, I don't think it leads to a place where Malik Willis is your quarterback. Because either Tannehill lights the world on fire this year, which obviously hasn't happened, and he leads you to the playoffs and does good things, and you think, we've got to bring him back, in which case Willis isn't your quarterback. Or you decide we do have to move on from Tannehill at the end of the year because it's too much money and we're reloading or whatever. In which case, I think you're going out and you're getting a free agent quarterback, or you're drafting a quarterback, probably in the first round. And if that's the case, at best, Willis is the second pony in a competition to win the job next year. And at this point, I don't see how he beats any of those guys or any potential guy in that race. And so you moved up in the third round, a place where you would hope you can get a guy who can be a starter and an impact player right away for you. You moved up in the third round to draft a guy who essentially is never going to play for you. And that was my fear from the start, and I feel like it's been realized over the course of this season.
How big of a lift would it be to get David Long back on the field?
It would be incredible if they could get him back there, because he would at least stabilize that linebacker core. Justin, I feel like you're going to see a Titans defensive line that looks pretty much like what we expected. You're going to have Danico and Jeff and Tiertard and all these other guys that have played good roles for them this year. I think you're going to have a secondary that probably looks pretty close to what we'd hoped. Now, there's some guys out. I mean, Caleb Farley obviously never got to where you wanted. Elijah Molden never really played. But you're going to have Christian Fulton in there, I'm almost certain of, on Sunday. You're going to have Kevin Byard and Amani Hooker on the back end. I think you'll feel pretty good about the bodies you'll throw out there in the secondary, the roles they're being asked to play. Same thing up front. The linebacker core is where I have fears, because you obviously have no Harold Landry. Now Bud Dupree's shut down. You have no Zach Cunningham. And if David Long doesn't play, I mean, you're at backups, maybe the second backup of all four of your linebacker positions at that point. That's a really tough pill to swallow. While David Long is one of your better defensive players. You know, I don't know where you'd rank him, but probably top 5, 6 on this defense for sure. He comes in, he gives you a boost there. So I think it would be big emotionally, and I think it would be big from a production standpoint for the defense if he's able to go.
Who, in your opinion, Steve, benefited the most from a week off or a game off last night?
Oh, that's a good question. I think they all do, because I think they're really beat up. I think you could make an argument that Jeffrey Simmons has been gritting everything out since, week 6 or something like that. So to give him as much time as he had, maybe he can absolutely wreck a game. I think he's been good even through the injury, but maybe with him fully healthy and Danico Autry back in there, maybe he can absolutely take over a game in Jacksonville and change it. That would be huge, obviously, if it happened for the Titans. But I think maybe the most important place would be Christian Fulton, because I don't think the secondary's looked very good since he's been out. And if you can get a healthy, and that's a big if, but if you can get a healthy Christian Fulton back in the game with the other guys around him, I think that's big. Because, number one, then you have a shutdown corner that you've been lacking in this. But, two, it sort of pushes everybody down a peg. You know, you've been asking Roger McCreary to be your number one corner way too often down the stretch of this season, and he's struggled in that position. But if you start having him guard the second or third best receiver, well, then that's a position where maybe he'll look pretty good, like he did at times early in the season. So I think potentially the guy who could take over the game is Jeffrey Simmons off of the rest, but I think the most likely, most important piece is Christian Fulton.
Lastly, for me, I just want to hear you talk about Mike Vrabel and big games, and what I mean by that is that the first time around when they went to the playoffs and made their little run, no one was expecting them to do anything. The win in New England was an upset. The win in Baltimore was really an upset. They went to the AFC Championship game. They're a Cinderella team. The next year, the wild card exit. Then last year, the number 1 seed loss to Cincinnati. Now here we are in a winner-go-home situation for them. And if you look at the way it's gone for Coach Vrabel in really big games, it seems like the pressure gets almost too much for the team. What is your view on the Titans in the Vrabel era in big games where they gotta have it and everybody knows they have to have it and the whole world is watching kind of situations?
I sort of put them in two categories, Justin. I think that if you look at last year as the number 1 seed against the Bengals, and I think you can throw in the year before that, the COVID year when they were a division champion and had a home game against the Ravens. I think you can put those two games in games that they underperformed in the playoffs, and they were very, very disappointing losses for a team in both occasions that really had a belief that they could make a run. So I think you can criticize him, frankly, for the performances in both of those games. Now, he didn't throw the interceptions. He didn't run for 40 yards against the Ravens 2 years ago. It's not all him, but I think you can criticize him for the team's performances. The other games you mentioned, the Blaine Gabbert Week 17 game in 2018, losing to the Chiefs in Kansas City, losing...
I'm not going to blame him for the Blaine Gabbert game, Steve. I can't do it. But I understand.
But I guess that's what goes into this week in my mind, too. It's those games, to me, I look at those seasons or those moments and sort of feel like those Titans teams probably shouldn't have been in that position. Mike Vrabel coached that first team up to a place where they gave themselves a shot with a bunch of guys out in the final game of the season, where if they somehow pulled it off, they win and they're in. And it didn't happen, but they probably shouldn't have even been in the position. The game in Kansas City, yes, it's an AFC Championship game. Yes, they ultimately didn't play their best or as well as they played down the stretch that season. But they got there with a team that probably wasn't the second-best team in the AFC. And I guess I feel the same way about this. The entire body work of this team this season, they're not a team that should be winning the division championship. They're not a team that should be in the playoffs. But they won 7 games. And they found a way when they had the full complement of bodies to get to a place where they were 7-3. Now, it has completely gone downhill since then, but they have earned the right to play for this game, to win a division title and get in. If they lose, I don't put that on Vrabel. I think this is just a team that's not very good and now, once again, has had more injuries than anybody else in the league. But I do think he deserves some credit for even putting them in this position in the first place.
Hey, final 30 seconds. Nice win by Belmont over Bradley the other night.
It was huge. Valley play is tough. Everything is hard. You get no easy baskets. Bradley's a really, really good basketball team. And for Belmont to get a bunch of guys going and come down from 9 in the second half and pull that out, it was massive. And now it just gets tougher. They go to Southern Illinois, another team that's 2-1, the logjam atop the league. And Darren, as you know, that's the big difference from OVC to MVC is every game's difficult. There's no more C efforts out there on the road in the Valley that you can win. And so they're going to need an A-plus effort on Sunday in Carbondale.
Yep, no doubt about it. Happy New Year, Steve. We'll talk to you in 2023.
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate it as always. Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. Appreciate him joining us. Phone lines wide open the rest of the hour. Your reactions to whatever. Last night's game against the Cowboys, bowl games going on. I mean, there's all kinds. It's a great sports time.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, college football playoffs is on Saturday. 615-844-5600 is how you can get in touch with us. More of the McFarland Show next. Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Are you in trouble with the IRS? Detaxify is the trusted tax relief solution that has an A+ rating with the BBB, 5-star rating from Google, and specializes in the IRS Fresh Start program.
If you have years of unfiled back tax returns or owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, the government has the power to garnish your wages, freeze your bank account, and in some cases they can now revoke your passport. This is John Zandy, president of Detaxify. Detaxify specializes in the Fresh Start program, where we help struggling taxpayers get out of collections or settle their tax debt. If you're being audited or dealing with threatening letters from the government, you may need professional tax relief representation. My team at Detaxify can stop the tax collectors and stop the threatening letters from the IRS or state. Call me now for a free consultation.
Call now, 800-601-7780. That's 800-601-7780. Detaxify offers a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Call now, 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780.
This holiday season, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts from Callaway and Bushnell. The Callaway Rogue ST Woods are designed with AI for faster ball speeds. And while you're there, grab a dozen Callaway Chrome Soft golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 shift rangefinders. There's also gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
WNSR Nashville Sports Radio would like to take this time to say congratulations to Greg Poe. Greg is a member of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Greg Poe has been a standard and staple of Nashville sports media. Congratulations to Greg Poe and the rest of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. From your friends and family at WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Our phones are open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600. Last chance to talk with us in the calendar year 2022. A lot of bowl games today.
Sure is.
One is in the books. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, as in mayonnaise.
Yes.
The Maryland Terrapins get it done. 16-12 over NC State. Mike Locksley. What happens to the winning coach? They get doused in mayo.
Jeez.
So he has been, the video is out.
From winning national championships with Nick Saban to getting doused in mayo.
So congrats to Mike Locksley.
Yes, congrats.
Hope he's enjoying his shower right now. Let's see, some games in progress.
Yes.
The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. South Carolina.
Yep. Just went to the end of the first there, just now.
Leading Notre Dame 21-7 through the first quarter. Tell you what, I didn't know what to expect from Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
He is far exceeded what I expected from Shane Beamer this early on at South Carolina.
Another season like this, and he's not going to be at South Carolina. One more season. He does one more season like this. One more. This time next year, not going to be in South Carolina. Guarantee. I don't know where he's going. I don't know what job will open up. I don't know.
You think there'll be a big job opening?
In college football? Probably not. You know, that's a good point, Darren.
Sarcasm.
Because those jobs don't open up that often.
They're usually, like his father, they usually have a coach for 40 years.
Yeah,
and then
yeah. That's a good point. So maybe not.
He has done a heck of a job. I mean, a heck of a job.
A lot of big wins there. In a place where it's hard to win. It is not easy.
People think it's SEC. Oh, it's Columbia, South Carolina. It's beautiful. Dude, it's hard to win there. It's hard to consistently win there. Now, that'll be his challenge next year, right?
Yeah.
Like, if they win this game, that's a 9-win season. Nobody saw that coming. No one.
It's a tough neighborhood. because you're competing with Dabo at Clemson, and then you got Georgia, the Bulldogs, and you got the Vols that have come back. It's a tough neighborhood. You got Vatech up the road. I mean, it's a tough neighborhood to get people. NC State, to get people to come in.
Yeah, but that'll be the challenge. Can he follow it up next year? We'll see what the follow-up season is. But right now, up 21-7 on Notre Dame through the first quarter. Pittsburgh trailing UCLA 21-14. So 21-14 Bruins midway through the third quarter in that one. That is the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I've been to the Sun Bowl. It wasn't Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
If Jimmy Kimmel can have a Sun Bowl, can have a bowl game, then Tony the Tiger,
I guess so,
can have a bowl game.
I think it was the John Hancock Sun Bowl when I went.
Oh, I remember that.
Long time ago.
Yes.
Long time ago.
John Hancock Bowl, yes.
Texas, North Carolina was the matchup. Priest Holmes had 4 touchdowns in that.
There's a name.
For Texas.
There's a name from the past.
Undrafted guy in the NFL. Priest Holmes.
Had a nice career.
Yeah, one of the best undrafted stories we've got, right?
I can
Tony
totally
Romo, Priest Holmes. I mean, they're up there at the top.
They're out there, yeah.
They're up there at the top. Then there's 2 other games to be played today. A little bit late. Well, actually, they're about ready to kick off. Ohio, which my buddy is the punter. He's not playing, though. He's hurt. They're out in Tucson, Arizona. It's Ohio, the Bobcats, taking on Wyoming. And Wyoming does not have Josh Allen. So that's good news for the Bobcats.
No, he's out of eligibility.
Yeah, he's not there. So good luck to them. And then, of course, tonight, kicking off at 7 o'clock, it'll be Tennessee and Clemson.
The orangest Orange Bowl ever.
And that line has plummeted.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice. Like what?
Yeah.
What's it at now?
I think it started at 7.
Okay.
It's down to 3.5. Clemson.
Okay. They know something we don't. Something's happened.
The money is coming in hot and heavy on the Vols.
Yeah, but why?
What has changed?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something has happened.
Something's happened.
Someone for Clemson decided not to show up to the stadium.
I mean, yeah, you would think, right? Like, are we going to get? We're going to hear about it here
now.
soon.
Like, right before kickoff, something is going to be announced. Like, the starting left tackle for Clemson decided to declare for the draft or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Or, decided he was going to stay at the beach instead of come to the game. Or, I'm not sure. Yeah, but typically when the line moves like that indicates that there's a major player or 2.
3.5. Wow.
Or there could have been a suspension. We know that happens too. Is where guys get in trouble, something happened, the coach suspends somebody for a half or for a game or sends someone home. And a lot of times we don't find out until just before kickoff.
I don't know what to make of that because I have been in the camp all week that I was going to get on FanDuel and bet Tennessee. I felt good about it. I felt like we talked about it because I believe they want this
with Joe Milton
more, but I don't know. I don't know if that makes me nervous or if that is also telling us, hey, look, when lines move that much, something's going on. It takes a lot to move it like that.
Joe Milton, depending on Joe Milton to do anything with a football in his hands,
I know,
is a scary proposition. The talent, obviously, we've talked about it all the time, but the accuracy is, whew. So, if you want to go that route, listen, it's your money.
No,
they'll take it. It's your money. They'll take it as legal.
I know.
Just
it's dangerous to go with Joe Milton, but
you want to put your money out there. That's fine.
I just feel like Tennessee is going to want this a lot more. I don't know. I don't know.
That's a tough one.
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Now, as for tomorrow, I again don't know if my feelings have changed, but I know we had a nervous Nelly Michigan call yesterday.
Yes.
About TCU because they don't never see 7.5 is a lot. And then of course you've got Georgia, Ohio State. Georgia's favored by 6. Ohio State, if you remember, there was a year when I think Lovely Herb was their coach. And they snuck in, and I was like, they don't even deserve to be there. And what'd they do? They won the whole thing.
They got the thing. I mean,
they won the whole thing.
There's no question Ohio State has got enough horses there to compete with Georgia. You just wonder, are their horses bigger and faster enough, fast enough to deal with whatever Georgia brings? And how upset are they after this Michigan loss that they want to redeem themselves and show themselves to be who they are? I mean, let's face it, this has not been, and I know we have a huge Ohio State fan over there who I'm not looking at right now. This has not been, the best of times for Ohio State. They now have lost 2 straight games to Michigan here. They've backed their way into this college football playoff. If they lose tonight, it's a little bit of a shot to the program here as far as if people can take them seriously now to be national championship contenders, because they have not won one of these games now in, a little while. And I know in a little while in college football, 3 years turns into, seems like a long time in these days in college football. Well, you haven't won in 3 years. Like, that's like an extended period of time. But Ohio State's supposed to be,
high.
when the bar is as high as they are, this is a game they need to win, in theory, if you're them.
Did you agree with my assessment at the end of the first hour?
About?
With the NIL? It was Tony's question. The thing that the transfer portal,
okay.
NIL. Like, transfer portal, I don't think that ain't going to change. That's not. But the NIL thing, I think, is going to change college football.
Oh, without question. It's just about who gets involved, how much money is in it for them. You open this door for corporations. How long before corporations start pouring into universities to get whatever results that they want? I mean, this is coming. This is going to happen. Now, who's going to do it first? I'm not sure. But this is no question going to happen at some point. And so, and yes, it's going to change it in a big way. And my biggest question is, who's going to suffer from it? Not who's going to benefit, but what college football program that is good, popular, and healthy right now is going to drown?
Because we live in the SEC country and we think everybody feels the same. Everybody's all in, right? They're not. They're not all in, okay? And if Ohio State or Michigan or both, which we see as 2 historic big boy football programs.
Absolutely.
Programs, right?
Yeah.
What if their administration isn't all in on this stuff and they're like, look, we're going to help, but we're not going to go to all ends of the earth to just give you whatever you want. And if they get constantly outbid, good luck keeping Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day. There's already stuff out there swirling about Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
But good luck keeping those coaches there. Because if they feel like it doesn't matter what them and their coaching staff do with recruiting, that it just comes down to the almighty dollar, and they can't compete because they're going to get outbid by SEC schools, right? Or now maybe USC says, hey, we're moving to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
We're LA.
Yeah.
We got loads of money.
Sure.
We'll get in this game too.
And maybe I'm missing it.
And they can't compete. They're going to lose these coaches.
But what happens when General Motors decides they want to give every player on Michigan's team a guaranteed $100,000? Guaranteed.
Jim Harbaugh will be there for a long time.
Just $200,000, $300,000. What happens if you come to Michigan? You're going to get $300,000 just by being on the roster, courtesy of General Motors. What happens after that? Where does that go? Because that's what we're talking about. I think at some point here, we talked about J.P. Morgan. We talked about whatever it is that's out there in California that can afford to do this. What happens if Tesla or Amazon or Walmart decide to get in this game? That's not average. That's not local car dealership money at that point. What happens if Coca-Cola decides, you know what? We like Georgia Tech. We're going to start pouring some money over the. I mean,
Georgia Tech's going to get good.
This thing could get off the rails real fast if that corporate money starts getting, and this transfers over to my other job a little bit. We see what some of the corporate money does in politics already and how that plays out. So, and that's all I'll say about that. Just imagine what it's going to do if it starts getting into your university sports program.
Yep.
Beyond just naming rights of stadiums.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more. If you're somebody out there who would like to go to the Music City Bowl and enjoy Kentucky and Iowa tomorrow in the lower bowl, we'll give you 2 tickets. We'll do that for caller 3. Only call in if you can, go to the game, take the tickets and go to the game and attend. We'll take caller 3 at 615-844-5600. Caller 3, we'll give you a pair of tickets in the lower bowl to see Kentucky and Iowa to the Music City Bowl tomorrow. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Where can you save big on Black Friday and go big on the holidays? Lowe's, actually. Find the prices you'll love this season, like $100 savings on a Blackstone 30-inch flat-top grill, now only $299. And your choice of a DeWalt 20-volt max brushless drill kit or impact driver kit for $99. Plus, find gifts exclusively at Lowe's, like a Cobalt 24-volt 500 CFM leaf blower for $99. Black Friday is here. Don't miss the deals at Lowe's. Home to any possibility. Offer valid through 11/30 while supplies last.
Geico presents Daily Affirmations.
Repeat after me. We are filled with an abundance of joy.
We are filled with an abundance of joy.
Also an abundance of questions. Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service to help answer questions and resolve claims quickly.
Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
We are also filled with an abundance of biscuits.
We are also filled with I don't think it works this way.
Oh, and jam. Don't forget jam.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com.
Are you suffering from bad gift giving? Look for the signs. Do people avoid eye contact when opening your gifts? When your friends say, you really shouldn't have, do they really mean you really shouldn't have? On more than one occasion, have you been re-gifted the same gift you gifted that person the year before? If so, the new Holiday Instant Games from the Tennessee Lottery might be right for you. Available now at your local retailer. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly. Side effects include invitations to more parties and less awkward looks at gift exchanges.
New Year's Eve in Nashville has a new twist this year.
Touchdown, right up the middle. 45 yards.
The 25th annual Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl is Saturday, December 31st at 11 a.m.
Still on his feet. Touchdown!
Get your ticket to the biggest party in Nashville as the Iowa Hawkeyes and Kentucky Wildcats square off at Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
Congratulations, Bo and Mount Juliet. Bo, enjoy the Music City Bowl. We'll give away another pair before we get out of here, so be listening. Kentucky, Iowa, 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah.
Over at Nissan.
Over at Nissan Stadium.
It'll be shown on ABC, by the way.
It is. Normally, it's been on ESPN.
Yeah.
For the last number of years, so this will be interesting. They get a broadcast game on ABC. Sort of the appetizer game before the playoff games later in the day.
Well, Ohio State, Georgia, and TCU and Michigan are on ESPN. So Kentucky, Iowa's on ABC. How about that?
Well, just different time slots, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying all the games tomorrow, Alabama, Kansas State,
yeah,
and the two playoff games are all on ESPN. But the lone wolf game, nationally televised,
that
is Kentucky,
interesting.
Iowa.
You know what? I hear what you're saying. That is very interesting.
I mean, you've got Alabama and two playoff games on ESPN tomorrow, and the lone wolf nationally televised game is Kentucky, Iowa, right here. How about that?
Okay. I mean, yeah, but yeah. Okay. I mean, this is where we're going. This is where we've been going for a little while. So I guess we're here, where you got to have cable to watch the college football playoff games.
Yeah.
You got to have access to cable or somebody's password or something.
Yep.
Just to watch college football playoff games.
That's where we are today.
That's where we are.
As you know.
Oh, yeah.
Being in the TV biz.
Something I need to have a conversation with somebody about. I need to get understanding about why this is the way this is, but I understand.
So we played Mike Vrabel in the first hour.
We did.
Talking about last night's loss to the Cowboys. What have we learned? I think what we've learned is Josh Dobbs is going to be the starter against Jacksonville.
Probably.
He didn't say that.
Yeah.
But it certainly feels that way.
Probably.
I would be way more stunned, just like most people, if they came out and they tried Malik Willis out there to start against Jacksonville. But they're not going to tip their hand. We're not going to know. I'm assuming it'll probably get out at some point next week. But Dobbs is going to be the starter. That's what we learned from last night. Hassan Haskins, I don't know what we learned there. I mean, when you think about the running backs, so we saw Chestnut.
Yeah.
We saw Jonathan Ward.
Yeah.
And we saw Hassan Haskins. I wasn't blown away by anything. I think Hassan Haskins, that was a nice, 4th and 2 run.
4th and 2.
I mean, he got popped short of the first down.
Made it happen,
Extra
though.
effort. He got it. That's cool. I mean, that's a run that I really liked. But overall, I was like, okay.
I mean, I think with Hassan Haskins, next year could be a different guy from him. After a full season in an NFL workout regiment for him, to put a little bit more, explosion and muscle on the frame, to get ready for, getting out there and making a couple of plays. From his work at Michigan, you see what he's capable of doing at a pretty high level in a conference that runs the football quite a bit. He was very successful there. So there's reason to believe that he could come in and be sort of a workhorse type of quarterback. He's not going to run away from anybody. He doesn't have that kind of speed. But he's sort of a sledgehammer, sort of an anvil there that you could throw over and over again. So, I think this offseason we may see somewhat of a transformation and maybe a much better next season showing from Hassan Haskins, perhaps, than what we've seen so far this year.
Racey McMath had one catch, a good one, for 39 yards. Mm-hmm. He's been out basically the entire season, got back into the fold. Is there any chance Racey McMath could be a real option for them down the stretch or next year?
That's hard to say.
I know.
I mean, they show all the promise in the world, but that's what we've been seeing from these guys. And you know what? A lot of this depends so much on who the new general manager is going to be and what his thoughts are, he or she, on all of these folks. If it's somebody that's already in the building, if Ryan Cowden continues to serve that role, the advantage with him is he already knows everybody. He knows everybody on the roster. He knows what the thinking was when they drafted them. He knows exactly, what they were expecting to get out of them, and what they saw, what somebody saw in them that would require them to be on the roster to begin with. He knows that. If you get in a new GM, he may look and go, "Are you serious? What is that guy doing here? Oh, no. He can't be on my football team. Get him out of here, please. And get somebody else in here, please." And that's the part of it that we don't know. So and we've seen a little bit of this, but we're really going to see it in the offseason. How many of these guys are John Robinson project guys, and how many of these guys are, guys that, were solid pickups that Mike Vrabel and company really like. And that is the part that we don't know. We have no idea. It could be Malik Willis was a John Robinson guy. And just John Robinson saw something the rest of us did not. Or every other NFL GM did not. Or whatever the case. And only he knows what in the world he was thinking about or projecting out of Malik Willis. We have no idea.
Yeah, look, it's just part of it. I mean, you're not actively, or this show is not seeking to trash John Robinson now that he's out.
No.
We're just talking about stuff that are just facts or opinions that could be viewed as facts. If Malik Willis, I asked Steve Lehman, and he's like, I think he may be done here. If it is truly he's done here, that unfortunately is going to go down as another swing and a miss. That's a third-round pick.
And
Kevin Byard was taken in the third round.
Yeah.
But you see why this happened?
There's no need to cry over spilled milk at this point. They've already made the change.
I know.
So if these guys didn't work out, then tough. It's over. You've already done it. Here we are.
I'm just saying it's just another indictment of golly.
Sure. But it's already, the damage has been done. He's on the roster. There needs to be a decision made, and they're going to make it. Whatever it is that was going to be built around Malik Willis, if there was going to be a building around Malik Willis, whatever was going to happen, it may or may not happen now. And sometimes that's the way that football goes. That's the way life goes. Sometimes we listen. Every one of us has been in a situation, just about, and if you haven't, keep living, as my father would say, where the boss who hired you all of a sudden is no longer there, and new boss comes in. And everybody knows how that feels when you're being evaluated by a new said boss. And, whatever the old boss saw in you, the new boss has got nothing to do with that. And now you're under evaluation. And it can be a rough feeling to have. And all these players may be going through that here very soon.
Yeah. Well, they will be. Well, you're right. But if they hire within, we don't know that, we don't know, did they completely differ? If they're hiring within, does that mean that person was on a different page than John Robinson?
That's what we
felt
don't know.
Differently.
We don't know so much.
I know.
There's so much we don't know about the internal dialogue that was going on. Listen, we're still finding out stuff from the Floyd Reese, Jeff Fisher era.
Yep.
And these guys are retired now, and there's still stuff we're finding out. Like, he wanted to do what? He almost drafted who? We find out a new story almost every year.
Yep. All right, we'll step away for the final time in 2022. Once again, one more pair of Lower Bowl tickets to give away. Caller 3. If you can go tomorrow at 11 o'clock to Nissan Stadium and see Kentucky and Iowa, caller 3 at 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up and use the promo code BKING. Combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout for the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. And when you win, you get your money really fast. It's a safe app. It's easy to download and super easy to use. Sign up today. Use that promo code BKING for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code BKING. Must be at least 21. Present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online. Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
From the big game to the big dance, bar lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the bar line staff take care of you. Grab a bar line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a bar line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Line, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown. Grizz Nation, grind into the new year. Watch Ja, Jaren, and your Grizzlies take on the Pelicans Saturday at 7 p.m. Get there early in the first 5,000. Get Dylan Brooks sunglasses. Then stay tuned for back-to-back home games and catch your Grizz Sunday at 7 as they take on the Kings to kick off 2023. Get ready to celebrate a new year and get your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or shopgrizzlies.com today. On your home for Memphis Grizzlies basketball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Congratulations, Sean in Murfreesboro. Enjoy the Music City Bowl tomorrow. Kentucky and Iowa at 11 o'clock. This is it for 2022. New Year's resolution guy? You do that? No?
Not really.
No?
No.
Have you ever done it?
I think I've tried one time, and I didn't see the use of it. I was like, if you want to change something, just change it.
Yeah.
Why does the calendar indicate that you got to do it? Just you want to do something, just go do it. Make up your mind and go do it. I mean, that's just kind of. Now, you can use certain things as benchmarks like that, so it's not a resolution. You kind of almost set goals for the year. By this time next year, I would like to, but it's not like it's a resolution where, I'm going to kick this out, or I'm going to stop doing this, or, whatever. You just try to set goals for yourself, and I find that to be a little bit more useful than resolutions. That's my line of thinking anyway.
Devlin, you do any New Year's resolutions?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make less mistakes at work next year.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Definitely
good
does a great job.
That's
I don't know what
to
he's
hear.
talking about. Definitely does a great job.
Got to be hard on myself, man. Got to be.
A little bit of that's inside.
Okay.
It cracks me up.
It definitely does a great job.
I think I'm in the lines of what you said, really. I'm not really. I know that, the Gems will be.
Sure.
January is by far their busiest month of the year. And then they start tailing off by February.
Yeah.
But, so everybody goes to the gym and yoga and Zumba and working out and all that stuff. Swimming, and that's great.
But,
I've never really, I think I'm like you. I just kind of feel like, well, maybe try just to stay healthy year round.
Yeah.
That's probably a good plan.
That's probably a good plan.
Mine is just always, I try to be a better person. And it's hard for me to admit, because you're like, well, you have to really work it? Yeah, I do. It sucks. It sucks. I do. I have to work. I wish it was natural. I wish it was easy.
Well, it's hard to, how do you measure better as a person?
I beat myself. You should have done this, or you shouldn't have done that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm always evaluating. And I was like, just why doesn't that come easy? Why do I have to work at trying to always be a better person, do the right thing, make the right call, make the right decision?
Yeah.
So that's kind of mine, but that's every year.
Yeah.
That's every year. Now, the good news is, at least I care, right? At least I want to be.
Because
Like
there are a lot of people who don't.
That's a big struggle right there because there's a whole lot of people like, well, I am who I am. I'm not changing.
I don't have to change anything.
I'm not getting better. I'm not going to do anything better. This is what I am. Deal with it.
Please.
Like, I'm not that person.
No, I don't. And I'm not that person that, people say I am anyway, whatever that means.
I think you have to change and evolve in all aspects of your life because everything around you is always constantly changing and evolving.
That is true.
So if you don't, eventually you will get left behind.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah. And nobody wants to be that person.
No.
Or that team, as we've been discussing here for the last, several months.
Look, if Nick Saban didn't change and evolve with the times, he'd be out of coaching.
Yeah.
Because Alabama will be irrelevant.
He's figured something out.
Right? He realized that, this is about offense and scoring and open things up, and so he changed. He did. All right, that is going to do it for us in 2022. In all seriousness, thank you all for these first 3 months.
Yes.
They've been fantastic. Be safe, and we look forward to talking to you next year.